Hi, I'm Vibrine Samuels and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, where I give you my textured take on the world of astrology. Well, what a week it has been. Tomorrow we have a full moon in Libra, that's on April the 19th, but actually we need to look back to the events at the beginning of this week. If Notre Dame isn't the wake-up call, I'm not quite sure what is. So at the beginning of the week, on the 15th of April, there was the Grand Fire Trine. So we had Jupiter retrograding in Sagittarius, the sign it rules, at 24 degrees. Then we have the Sun, which is exalted in Aries, and then the Moon was in Leo. So this phenomenal, combustive, inspirational energy was flowing through all of us. Now, the energy could be positive as well as negative. Reason being is because if one has been excessive, then there's the potential to implode or explode in ways that one hadn't really foreseen. But actually, what happened at Notre Dame, which took place on the 15th of April, how symbolic, I think actually represents an allegorical story, an allegorical moment for all of us to pay attention to. And it's this allegorical story that underpins the full moon in Libra, and it's at 29 degrees. So where you have the degrees at 5 degrees, 17 degrees and 29 degrees, that means you could actually have the absolute best of something. So with this full moon at 29 degrees, full moon means separation, but it's also the beginning of something that could be quite phenomenal when it comes to all different types of relationships. But before you can actually step into these relationships, I think the events of this week really do highlight the polarized position that some of you may find yourself in. The reason being is because the main axis point that underpins this full moon is made up of Pluto, the South Node and Saturn opposing the North Node in Cancer. Then we have Jupiter forming a quincunx with the North Node in Cancer, and then we've got this opposition with the Sun and the Moon. We also have Mercury forming a semi-sextile with Uranus, and they are both at 2 degrees. And then we also have Chiron forming a semi-sextile with Uranus, and Chiron is also at 2 degrees. Again, this sense of really standing out, being striking in some way, that actually either good opportunities could come to you or there's a possibility for new beginnings. So let me help unpack all of that. So Notre Dame, we all witnessed, the whole world witnessed, it went up in flames. Now, why do I say that this is an allegorical story? Because actually Notre Dame is representative of what's going on with this stellium in Capricorn. Saturn is at home. Saturn wants to rule. Saturn is about conservatism, maintaining the status quo, governance, authority, and, you know, really making a mark and standing for the traditional ways of doing things. It's also conjuncting the South Node, and the South Node really wants this sense of you can either stay in the energy of your past lifetime, so you're actually assigning yourself with maintaining the status quo because you actually fear change, and so therefore you could be aligning yourself with Saturn. And then the other side of the South Node, we've got Pluto, and Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, and Pluto is really about cutting a swathe away from the old. It's about regeneration, it's about complete destruction of, one could say, the patriarchy, one could say tradition, one could say about being the tried and the tested, the very conventional way of being. Pluto is about deep regeneration. Pluto wants you to plunge into the underworld and to find your buried treasures. But in order to find the treasure and actually act as the phoenix that rises from the ashes, you've got to burn, singe and scorch old ways of being. And Notre Dame, if we think about why the renovation was taking place, the renovation work started because there have been cracks in the foundation of the building. And so that the brickwork was crumbling, and the brickwork was crumbling because of pollution. Now, if we think about it astrologically, we have Neptune in the sign that it rules, which is Pisces, and amongst many things, Neptune rules noxious substances. So pollution has been eroding the brickwork, and that's the reason why the renovation started. If we think symbolically, you know, the cathedral is a Catholic, the associations with the Catholic Church. So we have a cathedral, we have religion. These are, you know, some could argue the cornerstones of our world. You know, religion helps to ground us in terms of who we are, but actually that's representative of Saturn. With the South Node forming a conjunction, do you really want to rely on governments to save the day? Do you want to be looking to religious leaders to save the day? I would say that certainly since Pluto has been in Capricorn and it entered in 2008, we've seen this complete transformation, this complete breaking down of authority. Examples include the economic downturn, we're seeing it with Brexit. The Me Too movement, we're seeing it with the Black Lives Matter movement. We're seeing it just this week on Wednesday with the climate change demonstration that took place here in London. All of it is pointing to this level of mistrust. And so where we have this level of mistrust with governments and decision makers, it means that we are being called upon, how do we become our own inner guru? Now, Jupiter is moving retrograde through Sagittarius, the sign it rules. So here is the call for you to be stepping into accessing your inner guru. Demonstrating your wisdom, thinking about your philosophies, thinking about the paradigm through which you understand this world and live through this world. What's your footstep? Is your footstep based on wisdom, the way that you're making sense of the world, or are you relying on external forces, mentors and gurus? Because if we think about what's happening or what will happen in January 2020, we're going to see the exact conjunction of Pluto and Saturn at 22 degrees. Now 22 degrees is a very significant degree because it literally could mean kill or be killed. Physically, the death, dying, and then obviously metaphorically, are there parts of your identity that you need to kill off? So you've got, you know, the rest of this year, the 6th of January is the actual exact conjunction between these two planets. Is it going to be the case that you are too fearful, so you're going to remain within the status quo, even though you're unhappy? Or is it that you're going to break free and then be the phoenix that rises from the ashes? You've got the rest of the year really to do the transformative work. But actually, given that we're at the start of the new astrological year, it's spring, we are here at the 29th degree of Libra. So, how are you going to start having the very best relationship with yourself? Then, how are you going to start cultivating the absolute best relationships that you can have? Relationships that are kind, relationships that are caring. The reason being is because the North Node is in Cancer. And Cancer is all about nourishment, nurturing, and currently it's forming a quincunx with Jupiter. So the North Node wants to break free and actually steer you towards this loving, caring, nurturing environment. But how do you do that? To yourself and for yourself first, and then how do you take that out and share it with other people? Now, with the quincunx to Jupiter, it's a call for you to reawaken your thoughts, your ideals, your philosophies and your values. And then as Jupiter retrogrades through Sagittarius for the next 4 months, how do you begin to realign yourself with the way that you should intrinsically be going in your life? It's the voice that continues to speak to you, irrespective of what's going on in the outside world. What is that inner voice telling you? Who do you need to show up to be? Because if you continue to live under the prism, under the shadow of a very powerful Saturn in Capricorn, it's in one of the signs it rules, then when the conjunction takes place in January 2020, and then Jupiter will be there as well. If you think Notre Dame is bad, a lot more is going to happen. There's going to be a continual fragmentation of the structures as you and I understand it. And so really, I think, as I said, in terms of allegory, how do you show up to be your own authority? And by being your own authority, you are laying that foundation, because with the North Node in Cancer, it is about creating a beautiful foundation to build your life upon. And then you'll have the gravitas, then you'll have the authority. So instead of externalizing or seeking permission from other people, you'd be able to step very confidently within it. Notre Dame also represents all the fires that have been taking place, you know, and it's only going to continue. The reason being is because we have Uranus. Uranus is now at home in Taurus, and Taurus represents the earth, practical things. So we're going to see shocking things, disruptive things happening on planet Earth, but also to physical things. And the burning of Notre Dame is just one example of what I believe will just continue until we begin to wake up in a way whereby, you know, how do we treat ourselves, how do we treat each other, and how do we relate to the planet? And with the with Uranus going through Taurus, here again it's about the regeneration, the breaking down of the old tried and tested in order to build something completely new. Now, with these semi-sextiles, particularly with Mercury semi-sextiling Uranus, and it's at 2 degrees, so it's time for powerful speech. Mercury has just moved into Aries, so it's about having the confidence to speak out about what you truly believe in. It could be shocking to some people because it's a sextile. So one, it should come quite easily because you're owning your truth. You know, Mercury in a fire sign, thank goodness it's moved out of Pisces, where one, on some levels, there may have been miscommunications. It could have been quite a poetic time. But actually, what you're seeking now is the clarity of thought and to move in a very directional way. It's forming the semi-sextile with Uranus. So what is it that you can transform in terms of your own thoughts, in terms of the actions that you could take in order to create something completely new? That's what this beautiful full moon in Libra is calling for. It's about the release. It's really aligning with Pluto conjunct the South Node. The South Node is in between, but actually you can make a conscious choice. The reason being is because Mercury has left Pisces, where there was the potential for all this confusion. You know what to do, you know what aligns with you, and now that Mercury has moved into Aries, it's like the Archer, Jupiter in Sagittarius, the Archer having a very clear focus, a very clear direction in which you're going to move. So think about the beautiful relationships that you could create. Think about the relationships that need to die. Think about the relationships, the way you've related to yourself to date. Which aspect of your character, which aspect of your personality needs to die, needs to be severed from this South Node and Saturn? There's this really powerful question that is for you to answer if you're struggling in some way. And the question is, who stole my holy fire? and what am I going to do to reclaim it? This is a very, very powerful time. You're either going to tread the line, walk the path of Saturn conjunct the South Node, or you're going to completely transform your life with Pluto severing from the past, and also Uranus in Taurus, and also Jupiter retrograding through Sagittarius, rethinking your position, rethinking your philosophies. And then, you know, however many years you've lived, what wisdom have you gained from this? And then over the next 4 months, refining it so you're able to come out with your own template, your model of how you're going to move forward. Because come January, when this big conjunction takes place at 22 degrees, who is going to destroy who? You've got the, you know, the clash of the titans with Saturn and Pluto. Who ultimately is going to win really will be down to you. So that's it, beautiful people. I don't have a quote of the day today. I've actually brought back in the question of the day because I think it's so pertinent. It's about who stole your holy fire, and it fits within the theme. You know, Notre Dame was on fire, and then we had the Grand Fire Trine, and this question speaks to, you know, how can you re-inspire yourself? How can you liberate yourself? How can you take control of the reins of your life so that you know who stole your holy fire, and you know exactly what you're going to do about it. So if you've got any comments and questions, put them in the comment box below. I always love to connect with you. And actually, I was thinking about this, you know, it's the Fire Trine. We really have this signature of the North Node in Cancer, which is all about caring, about building communities. I thank everybody who has watched, continues to watch, continues to support me here on Soul Stirring Astrology. You know, I absolutely love astrology and I love sharing it with you. And so I was thinking, actually, I'm just going to put it out there. If any of you are interested in co-creating, you've got a co-creating mindset, you want to be in community with other co-creators, you want accountability buddies, you're looking to build fresh, caring, fun, new friendships, you might actually find, you know, your business partner, then I'm thinking of putting together a group where we can come together once a month and actually be accountability buddies, where you're sharing your triumphs. And so what I really want you to think about is not what I can take from this group, if it interests you. I'm really interested in what can you actually contribute, what can you give of yourself, because if we're looking at this full moon in Libra energy, if we're looking at the schism, the tension between the South Node, Saturn and Pluto, it can't be about what you take. It has to be about what you give. So if you're interested in coming together once a month with people from this community and you've got a co-creator mindset, you want to bring kindness, support and contribution, then, you know, just put a comment in the comment box below. Yes, I'm interested, or you can drop me an email at bybreensamuels@googlemail.com. That's BYBREENSAMUELS@googlemail.com, and just say, yeah, I'd love to be part of this group. And the reason, another reason why I'm doing this is because, you know, it still amazes me when I'm just walking down the street, minding my own business here in London, and somebody comes up to me and says, you know, are you by Breen Samuels? And I'm like, yes, have we met? And no. I say, no, I don't think we have. And they say, yes, because I follow you on YouTube. So I'm really, really like, oh my God, it's always such a surprise and it's always so lovely. And I'd love to connect more with you. So if you're interested in being part of a dynamic group, because the dynamism is going to come from you, what you contribute, and then how that then creates leverage for yourself and other people. If you're interested, do let me know. And also, if there are any particular videos that you would like me to do, put your suggestions in the comment box below. So stay well, really enjoy this separation, this severance looking at your relationships and looking to build harmonious and loving ones. Stay well, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.